Arshtat and Farid are dead. Or at least this is what George tells us before quickly helping us escape with Leon, Cyalides, and Zagai. As we make our escape, we see the Sun Rune return to the sealed room, all but confirming the fate of our mother. We sail off, wondering about those we left behind.
Princess, please hurry! I'm trying, but where are my mother and father? Galleon, weren't you with them?
Princess!
What's the matter? Zahak, Alania, what are you two doing here? Princess, stay back! What's going on?
Hello, Princess. And where might you be going?
What? Oh no!
Dead.
What? Tell me what's going on here!
You're the ruler of Sun Palace now, Princess. We can't just let you leave now, can we?
Why are you...
We skip ahead to our group hiding out at the East Palace. We've changed our clothes to avoid detection, but we know we can't stay here long. A loyal official we sent out on reconnaissance informs us that word of the Queen's death has reached the East Palace, and that her assassination is being pinned on George. We decide the best place for us to flee right now is probably to Lunas and Hazwar. Isato rushes to greet us as soon as we enter Lunas. He says that they've received vague rumors of an attack on the Sun Palace, but don't know any details. Hazwar has been worried sick, so we quickly run to meet her. Hazwar is relieved to see us, but is worried about the news we might bring. The party tells her what happened to the best of their knowledge. She tries to stay optimistic, but it's obvious the news has affected her deeply. Zagai, via edgy metaphor, suggests that the best thing for us to do now is rest. We agree and head to bed. In private, Isato tells Hazwar that we won't be safe here for much longer, as the Godwins will surely suspect we would flee to Lunas. She agrees, but wants to give us at least a night to recover. Leon tries to comfort us, but we insist that she should get some rest as well.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll be on my way.
Marshal, your lordship, sir!
Father, you're early.
I was feeling a little anxious.
There's no need to worry. As you can see, we have complete control of the Sun Palace.
I heard there were a few crucial problems.
Crucial is such a strong word. There may have been a few unforeseen obstacles, but it all turned out fine. The only thing worth noting is that the Prince and Lady Cyalides managed to slip away. But thanks to that, we were able to make George take the blame, so, in the end, it wasn't a complete loss.
I see.
The Godwin bastards enter the sealed room, where the Sun Rune now resides. They comment on how neither one can wield the rune and urge the researchers there to continue their work, presumably to find a solution to that problem. They then talk about the princess and how obstinate she is being. We learn Miyake's is still alive with her as well.
Princess, won't you please rest even just for a little while? No! If I saw Mother and Father in my dreams, I think think I would cry. Oh, Princess. It's all right to cry, you know. I won't cry. I won't give them the satisfaction. If I cry, they win. If I cry, it's like admitting the defeat of our family, defeat to the likes of them. And that's why I can't cry. Oh, Princess. Princess. Please save me. Please save me.
We return to Lunas, where we learn, despite her best efforts to conceal it, Leone didn't sleep at all last night. Cyleeds joins us, and the party wonders how George is doing after being accused of killing the Queen and Farid. Cyleeds thinks that what she said to him in the Sun Palace is probably affecting him more than the accusations. Suddenly, Isato, George, and Zagai enter with urgent news. A large force of Godwin's soldiers were spotted heading towards Lunas. Cyleeds says there's no way they could have found them this soon, which prompts Isato to mention that several clerics went missing the night we arrived, likely to inform them of our whereabouts. Remember that many of the people here are none too fond of our family and think Hazwar should be the rightful queen. Hazwar asks Isato to show us a way out through the forest. The elf is initially hesitant, as the trail we would be taking is a sacred path known only to elves. Ever loyal to Hazwar, however, Isato agrees to ferry us away. The path should take us into Barrow's territory, and if there's anyone who'd be willing to harbor us from the Godwins, it would be the Barrows. Before we leave, we talk to a cleric that gives us some medicine. We head down the path where we caught Log and Lund before Isato stops us at a dead end.
This way.
That way? But that's a dead end.
Just follow me. Quickly.
What's going on? Remember what the Oracle said. It's a path only the elves know about. Come on now, let us hurry.
The mystical elf trip takes us to a path with a bunch of ladders. We can run into encounters here, but with all the heavy hitters we have right now, they're nothing to us. When we reach the end, Isato tells us that we should head south until we reach Hod Village. Past that, we should reach Rainwall, the hometown of Lord Barrows. We ask Isato to come with us, but unfortunately it's not meant to be at the moment. The trip to Hod is a short one if we know where we're going. Along the way, we run into a mini-boss, a boar named Peckles. With George and Zagai on our team, he's a cakewalk. We get a leather cape, which is a nice upgrade to our normal cape. So this is Hod, and this is Hod's quote-unquote music. It actually fits the town pretty well, as Hod is kind of a postmodern art haven, which is why there are so many outlandish decorations around. Still, not the most relaxing BGM I've come across in a video game. Cyleeds thinks it'd be wise to ask around Hod to make sure Lord Barrows would be on our side, so we set off to explore. The people of Hod aren't that friendly, as art is everything here and everybody is an artist. A genius artist! We head south to this big hourglass ladder thingy and find a chest with a boost piece in it. Below that, we talk to a She thinks we dress like hobos and tells us to go away. But we do find a drain piece near her. Going north near the inn, we find a chest containing a power piece, and inside the inn we find a Wind of Sleep scroll. Down at a dock we find a chest containing a window set, which tells us we need to find a window maker. These are actually different visuals for the UI and text boxes and not actual windows. Near the item and armor shops we find the cross tactic, an attack boosting tactic useful for when you have a lot of medium ranged characters. Near these sad looking Gumby things, we find a chest containing 1,000 potch and the last of our patience for this music. As we attempt to escape, however, we're stopped by a soldier who yells out our position.
Hey, it's the prince! It's them! It's the Prince and Lady Cyleads! I'm sure of it!
Uh-oh.
Prince, let's run!
Hey, wait! What you running for? My name is Boz Wild, the Lord of the port town of Estrise. I'm a friend of Lord Barrows. I know it sounds presumptuous of me, but I'm here to rescue all of you.
Boz and his mohawk tell us that the Barrows have people looking out all over for us after news of the coup reached them. He says Lord Barrows doesn't believe what the Godwins say and would be more than happy to harbor us. He tells us that if we wish to go to Rainwall with him, we're to meet him at the port. It's here where the guide takes his leave of us. He feels that though it wasn't his fault, the Barrows and their citizens would think he disgraced him by failing to compete in the sacred games. He says his farewells after telling us he enjoyed fighting alongside us. We meet Boz at the pier and make way for Rainwall. Rainwall is a large city with 3 tiers that we reach via a large set of stairs that run through the middle of the city. The people here shower us with praise and condolences for our family. As soon as we enter, we find a chest containing some potch. On the east side of the first tier, we find some it's Mega Menace! Going up to the second tier, we ransack an old man's house for his silk cape and take it as our own. Close by, we head to the inn and go upstairs. There we find a prosperity ring, a very useful ring that, though it lacks defensive properties, increases all the pot we receive from random encounters. We put it on us because we're a prince and we must be fancy. On the eastern side we find, oh no, oh god, we find a magic absorb piece and nothing else. Heading up to the third tier, we see an old Dr. Wily looking man talking to the trading post vendor. He's aggressively asking the vendor if the post has or has had a specific tome. He's searching for the Tome of Arcanos, a supposedly much sought after tome that is extremely dangerous. The vendor hasn't seen it. On his way out, the man introduces himself as Alhazred and tells us to keep an eye out for tomes. We go east to a large mansion and head upstairs to find 2 chests. The first contains another Wind of Sleep scroll, and the second, the Crescent tactic. This is a defensive tactic that keeps most of your characters near the front. Finally, we head towards the Barrows mansion, outside of which we are immediately stopped by Euro. He hurries us inside to speak with his father. Salem, in his oh-so-overly grandiose way, assures us that the Barrows don't believe a word that the Godwins say and believe us wholeheartedly about the revolt. Then, we meet another member of the Barrows family.
Lucerina.
This is Lucerina, and she actually seems normal? Weird. Cyleads remarks on how much she's grown since they last saw each other. Lucerina offers to show us our room after our long journey. On our way upstairs, Lucerina introduces us to a large man named Chuck. She says Chuck manages her family's storage rooms and he'd be glad to hold anything for us as well. He does indeed do this and acts something like a bank where we can store items we aren't using at the moment to clean our inventory space. Chuck assumes that we're here to marry Lucerina, which of course everyone is oblivious about. Like most times in this game where our character is supposed to be showing us around, we actually have to find our way to wherever we're supposed to go. We head to the wrong room, which Lucerina says belongs to her mother. Apparently, ever since the eldest Barrow's son died, she shut herself inside and refuses to see anyone. Eventually, we find the right room where Lucerina gives us her condolences.
And if you need anything, please feel free to come get me, okay? I'll leave you alone now.
I can't believe it. Is that girl really Lord Barrows' daughter?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But as unlikely as it may seem, they really are related.
How could someone as shady as Lord Barrows?
Well, shady or not, I'm pretty grateful for him right now. And thanks to Lord Barrows, at least we can finally get a little bit of rest, and we all need that right now.
I don't think we can relax quite yet.
Leon.
I understand that Nethergate is working for Lord Godwyn. You never know where or when those guys are going to strike. We have to keep our guard up.
Leon, don't you think you're being just a little too paranoid?
No. I know what I'm talking about. I was once a member of Nethergate too.
You were what?
There's no way. You know, when Farad took you in back then, you were even younger than Limslia is now. How could you have possibly been a member of Nethergate?
Nethergate used to kidnap children who didn't have any family and train them to be assassins. My very first memories are those of my training to become a Nethergate assassin. I don't know who my real parents were, or even what my real name is.
That's awful.
Day in and day out, they taught us nothing but how to hurt people. In 2 more years, they would have made me a full-fledged assassin. I would have been a murderer by now. But before that could happen, Farad rescued me. And he's the one that gave me the name Leon, too. So that's why I do anything to repay Farad. Prince, I'm sorry I never told you. Do you think you can still trust me even though you know about my past? Prince... Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
We switch to seeing an extravagant revolving bridge turning and several Godwyn soldiers crossing it. The previous scene shows part of why I find Leon to be more than just the girl party member. Her devotion to us isn't one of love but of duty, and not to us but our father. Not only did Farad raise Leon, but saved her from a much worse life. The choice you make in that scene is probably the most important when it comes to Leon. We're awoken by Leon, who says Godwyn troops have already found us and are mobilizing near Rainwall. We go downstairs to find everyone discussing this. Salim says he has more than enough forces to contend with the Godwyns, but he really thinks that we should be the one to lead them. His reasoning is that the Godwyn narrative is that we were kidnapped by George, so if we're seen leading troops against the Godwyns, that would strike a large blow to it. Eventually, the party agrees that it's a good idea, and, well, I guess we're off to war. Here we get our first taste of army battles. Yep, there's another form of combat in this game. These play out like a real-time strategy game. A rather simplistic one, but one nonetheless. You start on the army organization screen, but we can't actually do anything on it for this battle, so I'll get into specifics on that later. The basics of army battles also sort of fall along the lines of rock, paper, scissors, though it's a bit more complicated than duels. In this battle, however, all you need to know is that infantry beat archers, archers beat cavalry, and cavalry beat infantry. When you move a unit into an enemy unit, the two will do battle, with both sides taking losses. Your goal is to make sure you lose less than the enemy. Whoever loses more forces retreats if they were not completely wiped out. Losses are determined by the types of units fighting, their level, which is represented by the yellow pips by their HP, and any abilities used by characters positioned in those units. It's basically impossible to lose this fight, as Boz's unit alone could probably solo it. He's not only overpowered for this fight, but leads a spear unit, a stronger form of infantry. This is mostly just a tutorial for the basics. We just move our overpowered units into the enemy until we kill them all. One thing to note, however, is that in army battles, characters can die, and if they aren't important for the main story, they dead. Like, gone. This isn't the case for normal battles, just army battles. Also, if you win an army battle without losing the entirety of a single unit, you get a victory plus at the end, which comes with a reward. In this case, we get the Hungry Wolf tactic.
Marvelous! Absolutely marvelous, Your Highness! What a triumphant return! A new god of war is born, the blood of His Majesty Parrot running in his veins! Attention, attention! Listen here, my dear citizens of Rainwall! Helena is about to be undermined by the evil ambitions of the ever so despicable Godwins! But with the divine guidance of the sun, His Royal Highness the Prince has come to stand before us! And in the name of our prince, let us join together and fight for the liberty of Helena! We must deal a crushing blow to Godwin, who murdered our queen and the commander of the Queen's Knights! And we must rescue the captured Princess Limslia! We shall restore our beloved homeland to all its former glory! Let our mercy as deep as the Fatus, and our authority as powerful as the sun, be revealed to the entire world!
Let our mercy as deep as the Fatus, and our authority as powerful as the sun, be revealed to the entire world! Let our mercy as deep as the Fatus, and our authority as powerful as the sun.
As you can probably tell by the music, our victory brings with it some trepidations, as we're not sure if we can trust Lord Barrows. Our perspective shifts briefly to the Sun Palace. We see that Lim is still not giving Gazelle any sign of weakness as she berates him for entering her room. Gazelle informs her of our stand at Rainwall, which gives her a swell of hope. The Godwin quickly uses it as a threat, however, declaring us traitors to the throne to be executed. We shift back to Leon informing us that reinforcements from a town called Sable have arrived and that we should meet with them. We head downstairs to do just that.
Oh, Your Royal Highness, you've arrived just in time! Indeed, we are in the presence of one dauntless General Dine. He is from Sable, a fine hamlet in the south.
Your Royal Highness, I am most honored to meet you. My name is Dine. I hail from Sable. I was ordered by Lord Rowlbell to assist you, sir. I came here with some of our troops as quickly as I could.
You're going to be a big help around here. Sable's close to the border with Armis, so they've always been at each other's throats. But I've heard Armis has been shaking in their boots ever since Dine took command down there.
No, Lord Wilde, I'm afraid your compliments are undeserved. The reason Armis has been docile lately is because their Majesties Arshtat and Ferid were so skilled at diplomacy. To show our gratitude to them, we solemnly pledge our strength to help you, sir, in any way we can.
Oh, this is most helpful to our cause. What's more, volunteer soldiers have been pouring in from every region. My, the day we thwart the Godwin scheme is indeed nigh.
General Dine seems to be an honorable man, and though he pledges his support for us, he notes that they alone are nothing compared to the might the Godwins now have at their disposal. The group decides that the best thing to do now is look for more allies. Salim suggests our first target should be Ratfleet, which has moved close by. He wants us to go personally to further expose the Godwins' lies. Dine agrees, but also suggests we seek to bring Lord Lake to our side. A daunting task, to be sure, as our mother was the cause of the town's near destruction, but if we gained their support, we would surely win over the common people. Salim is hesitant to approve of seeking Lord Lake's support, likely because they would have much less tangible resources to contribute, but eventually agrees with the caveat that Ratfleet should be our first stop. Leeds, having the most experience with the man, still does not trust Salem and thus opts to stay back to keep an eye on him. George can't go with us since he's wanted for the Queen's assassination, which leaves us and Leon to head out on our own. And with that, after 6 episodes and around 16,000 words, the game finally starts. I'd like to thank anyone who's been willing to put up with me so far as I try to present this game in a hopefully digestible way. I typically want to end these episodes on a cutscene, but I feel like this is a good spot to start a new chapter of sorts. As you can probably tell, I'm still kind of learning how exactly I want to do this, but I do know that I want to do it. So let me know what you've liked and didn't like so far, and I'll love ya. Mwah.